Hey YouTube, this is the second episode of Quickshots at Stush. Today's episode is called X-Men, a Conundrum of Clocks. A few days ago, well, okay, it depends on when this video goes up, but I watched X-Men Days of Future Past. It was okay. It was okay. I remember absolutely loving First Class, although there's stuff about First Class that I hate, but I remember absolutely loving First Class. And the actual X-Men movies are iffy, like they're weird. And so this is kind of a combination between the two of them, and like it features the characters and the settings of both of these movies. And it was just okay. I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense for me that I thought was okay if it was a combination of movies that I didn't particularly like at all, which are the original trilogy and then X-Men First Class, which I remember liking a lot. I'm qualifying with I remember liking it a lot because I haven't watched it in a while and I don't know if my tastes have changed. It's possible. But I just wanted to say a few things about the movie. At least until somebody comes in. For starters, and I'm only putting this first because I think this is a big deal and I only noticed it just now. Like I only thought about it just before filming. But this movie fails the Bechdel test. Like, first thing, there are 3 main female characters. And by main, I just mean the ones that have like speaking roles. You know, okay, Blink talks a little bit maybe. So I guess there's 4. But the only one that actually matters that much as a character is Mystique. Kitty only matters as a tool. She's not a MacGuffin, but she facilitates. She's not a MacGuffin because you don't have to find her, but like she facilitates the rest of the plot because she now has this ability to send your consciousness back in time. Does that usually when you have an evolution of your abilities in X-Men, it's like related to the last one. How is sending somebody's consciousness back through time related to phasing? Sending your consciousness? She phases through solid matter. Is she phasing your brain through your mind through the 4th dimension or something? It's so weird. But that's for a different part of this video. The point is that out of all of these characters, out of all these female characters, these main characters, the only time they're really talking to each other is when they're all talking in a group, and it's like Kitty explaining to everyone how the whole sending your brain back in time thing works. Additionally, I noticed they didn't call Storm by her real name, which is Aurora. Which is, I thought was strange. Like they were naming all people and they're like Storm, Jean, Scott, and I was just like, why would you say Storm instead of Aurora? That's her name. And then I realized that in the original X-Men trilogy, they never call her by her name either. They call her Storm. But it's not like we don't know, like, If anybody reads the comics, it's not that we don't know that Storm's name is Aurora. You know, that's her first name. You know that. You know that. What's his name? I mean, I think Logan is actually not his real name. His name is like Logan, not Wolverine's real name. His name is like something weird and generic. This is not weird then. But it's something generic. But they never call her by her name in the original trilogy either. They call her Storm. And I find that really problematic. Why do we get to know everybody else's name but we don't know Storm's real name? Is it because Storm is East Africa? I'm not sure. But is it because it comes from an African dialect? Is that why, like, would we not be able to? People would just think that her name is Aurora or something instead of saying Aurora. They'll just mispronounce it, but it's not like we should know what her real name is. We know everybody else's real name. That's weird. That's very weird. And I find it suspect. I don't appreciate it. But this movie fails to make that test. I mean, there are barely any women in it. Anyways. Excuse me. There's barely any women in it. Anyways, the cast is mostly dudes. But it's still, like, I only realized it today. I was just like, how did they manage to, not at all? None of them? None of them talk to each other about anything. They don't. It's only lots of men talking about man things. There are men talking about women. Eric and Charles talk about, Magneto and the Professor talk about Mystique a lot. They talk about Raven a lot.